Hi folks, thanks for joining me to go fishing. I'm glad to have you along. I thought I'd take today and tell you where I live, a little bit about where I go fishing, teach you just a little bit about fishing if you don't know anything, and just kind of give you an idea of maybe some things that you might want to consider if you're considering building a homestead, because where you choose to have your homestead will make a big difference in how you live. Now, I happen to live about 30 minutes from this place called Smoky Springs. This is up in the Uinta Mountains at about 5,500 feet elevation. The Uinta Mountains run all the way from Colorado clear up into Idaho. Now this land is part of the BLM Forest Service land, and I happen to be lucky enough to live right next to about 1 million acres of BLM Forest Service land and about 1 million acres of Ute reservation land. And an interesting story about the Ute reservation land: my grandfather was an Indian agent at the time that the Utes were being settled onto the reservation. But unlike a lot of Indian tribes that didn't get the best land, the Utes were actually given the choice of the best land first, and they chose about 1 million acres of some of the most beautiful, pristine wilderness area for their reservation. What they didn't know at the time is that that area would also later in the future be found to discover great wealth in oil and natural gas deposits. So while some Native American tribes have really suffered with not having financial means to take care of themselves, the Ute Nation has actually been very well off as a result of the natural gas, oil, and also just the fact that this is such a beautiful area that people want to live here. It has fantastic hunting, fantastic fishing, which I'm hoping to show you, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful area. So this is where I'm going to be fishing, and what this is a tributary that comes off of the Uinta River. A smaller stream comes down off of the river, flows down into these little ponds like this, and what this is it's actually created by beavers. You can kind of see the beaver work in action up here, and you can see a tree over there, right there, that has been chewed on by beavers. The beavers chew the logs down, they drop them across the water to block off the water, and then they build these beaver mounds, and they live in those all year long. So this is a natural effect of the animals that are working up here. And it also happens to be just absolutely full of brook trout and rainbow trout. Brook trout are the native species up in here. Rainbow trout were put in later on, and they've become a native species. They do really well in this area. Brook trout is what I like to fish for. One just jumped right there. There was a circle that shows that a fish was active there. He jumped up, probably got himself a fly. The brook trout I like to catch because they have a very wonderful flavor. It's a very natural flavor, not real fishy, not real strong, just an excellent pinkish yellow meat. And so I love to fish for brook trout, and that's what we're going to try and catch today. Now a little bit about my fishing. There's lots of different ways to fish, and I'm primarily a fly fisherman on the rivers and streams, but I also like to come back into these small pools and do bait fishing. And we're going to do some bait fishing today because that's a skill that almost anyone can learn really quickly. And I was taught to fish when I was just a young kid by my father and my mother. There's 9 of us, and I was the youngest, so we went fishing just about every other weekend. And for us kids, it was just enjoyment, pleasure to be out in nature and enjoy everything. But for my parents, it served another purpose. It's a survival skill. The fish that we caught would fill up our freezer, and in the wintertime, we would have that extra supply of meat. And that's really important, especially when you got a large family to feed. And I learned a very good rule from my parents is I only kill if I kill something, I'm going to eat it. Otherwise, I don't kill it. So when I come up to fish, I don't catch and release like some people do. I catch the fish, I keep the fish, I clean the fish, I eat the fish. And so today what I will be doing is walking you through, hopefully if I catch a fish, walking you through first how to catch the fish, how to land it, how to bring it in, and we will also look at cleaning a fish if you want to know how to do that, and even cooking a fish. And so stay tuned. I'm going to rig up a pole here, and I'll show you how my rigging works, and we're going to get some bait in front of those fish that are jumping around in this little pond here and see what we can catch.